full house and some change. Now, you might not have seen this combination of contributors on Canon 4 TV before, but I'm preparing myself. There might be some blood on the dance floor, but we're going to get into this one on the other side of this music intro. Yes. We are back in full effect. It's the Canon Project segment, not the one for the longest time. And lo and behold, we've got a full house here. Yes, Glenn Wynn, how have you been, brother? How are you?
Yeah, it's good. The good thing is about the blood on the floor is we all bleed the same, eh? Yeah, I'm good, Alex. As I said, you're off air. There's a lot of things going on, but I'm good. I'm blessed and I'm alive. That's
Nice
the
one.
bottom line, and that's how we roll, eh?
Yeah. Amen to that. Isaac, how is you?
I'm doing great, and I can see you today. You decided to go with a panel of 5, and I'm trying to think. Perhaps is it because we are 5 points clear? And you decided to have a panel of 5.
Isaac, I'm not that smart, Isaac. I wouldn't think of that. But good thinking.
That's great that we do that. We are back and we're back to business, and we've got to put to the end some of the debates that are going around, and we have got to move on and let go of some things that maybe as a fan base we've been clinging to.
Yeah. We're going to get into that anyway. Tony, where's the Henny?
Hey.
Oh, you back here? Right. Oh dear, what's happened there? Hey, he's back. Right, Tony, you with us?
Yeah, I swapping devices, so this one sounds much better. Great stuff. Yeah, this is.
Yeah, it was just showing off.
Want to be
swapping devices. I've only got one device, man. We're talking about swapping devices. We don't do that on Canon TV, man. Swapping devices. Anyway, Tony, how have you been, man? You been all right?
I'm good, buddy. I've broken up from school, so now is my time, free time to enjoy one's festive season.
Nice one. Well, welcome back anyway on Canon 4 TV, and I'm hoping you're going to share some of your Henny with me later on. Anyway, Richard, welcome back. It's been the longest time, at least with me. I know you've got a Thursday night show over Ange, the first day of Canon 4 TV, but welcome back, Richard. How have you been?
Not too bad at all. I saw grandson today again at home, so that was good. Got home and the Openreach had decided to do some work and knock our internet out, so that was the scramble. That's why I was late.
No worries.
Yeah,
anyway, welcome back. Good. So the first topic on this latest Canon project. We're just a few weeks away from the January transfer window, Glenn Wynn. What business does Arsenal need to get done? Now, I know literally there's been some talk about David Ornstein talking about Mihailo Mudryk. What business does Arsenal need to do in the January transfer window, Glenn Wynn?
This is the theory that I've been thinking of, and everybody is saying you must now shift your plans and change it to having a backup for Jesus, or in this case Eddie Nketiah. I don't think we should shift our plans. We should stick to the plans. The plans is there for a reason, and I'm sure if we had planned to go for argument's sake, Mihailo Mudryk, SMS, or whoever they might be, stick to that plan, because these are the guys who are going to instantly change your team. Yes, we have a problem with Jesus being injured, but now you're going to have to change your plans and possibly buy a player that you didn't need, because in my opinion is that we didn't plan for a number 9. We gave Eddie 100K a week, and that was our backup plan. So stick to the plan of what you wanted to do in the first place, and the minute you're going to start changing that plan, your whole perspective and going for the kill is gonna change, because now you're gonna go for a player that you didn't plan for. So you need to obviously then change everything because of that, and that can be our downfall. So I would say stick to the plan, go for what the wide player, go for the CM, and whatever ever other backup you plan to get, because surely there was a different scenario last season where we didn't get any in January because of what the plan was. The plan was always to clear out the wage bill. We all said, yeah, but we should have gotten this and should have bought that, and but the plan was always to clear the wage bill, and that was done. Now we're in a different scenario. We're in a different position as last season. We are 5 points clear. We have to add those additions to get to probably that win or top 4. We're already in top 4, in my opinion. We stay there. So we are overachieving at this stage, and stick to that plan. That's what I'm saying. Go for it. Stick to the plan. Buy your wides, buy your CMs, and don't change it.
I'm going to fly to Tony. Tone, your business. January. Didn't buy anyone last January.
Just want to give a big shout out to my local island. I know you mentioned the Hennessy, but today, brothers and sisters, on Drinks Champ, we're drinking the Guyanese 8-year-old Eldorado rum.
Oh, that's 8 years old, eh?
It's good stuff. So, cheers to everyone.
Where do you live, Tone? Where do you live, man? Oh dear. Yeah, Tone. Business in January.
Okay, so I don't really like to speculate. I am the worst person for transfer window gossip. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I'm always of the opinion, let the club do what they want to do. And when they decide to do the business that they're going to do and they do it, we're going to get behind it. Come rain, come fall, come snow, come wind. You know, we're just going to get behind whatever they do. Let them do it. If they can get deals done, let them get deals done. It's a very important 6 months for us because we have to get people signed. Yeah, let's not forget that there are huge priorities in William Saliba,
Bukayo
Saka,
Martinelli.
and Martinelli. Yeah, all of which will cost the club ultimately, because they're going to be going from 40, 50 grand a week up to 100, up to 200 grand a week. So there's money to be spent in those areas, which has to be done, because it would be criminal to let any of those 3 players leave and not get market value for those 3 players. So it's tantamount. So if we don't get a player in the January transfer window and we sign those 3 players, job done.
Yeah.
Job done.
Yeah.
Now, as Glenwyn said, you know, look, they had a plan at the start of the year. If Gabriel Jesus is out, we got Eddie Nketiah. We just upped his salary to 100 grand a week. He should be ready to come in and fill those boots. My fear is what happens if he now picks up an injury. Yeah. So that's why an emergency plan needs to be put in place. Now, whether that emergency plan becomes we pull back one of our players from loan, i.e. following Balogun, or we go out in the market and we buy another player, that's a decision Arsenal need to make. Because remember, if you go out and you buy another striker, you've effectively pushed following Balogun back in the pecking order.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he's only just signed a deal, right? So you now create a hole unnecessarily. So I'm going to leave that very difficult decision of what you do and how you do it down to the people who are paid a fortune to make
Yeah.
that decision.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And whatever they decide to do, I'm going to run with it. I'm going to be happy with it. I'm going to, applaud it, and I'm going to be applauding the players that they've chosen to run with for the next 6 months. As I said, this next 6 months for Arsenal is huge.
Yeah.
Now, we are at a formidable stage in terms of where we sit in the league table. 5 points clear, with a game and a half literally to give against Manchester City in what would we consider a title run. But with a huge chasing pack of Tottenham, Newcastle, Man City, Man United, Liverpool, all wanting to gain ground on us if we should drop points. So those guys at the top, they know what they got. We got a little bit of a stumbling block gap. We can give a game and a half, but what we can't afford is 3 or 4 games, because we know Tottenham play Man City in January, so somebody's got to lose points there.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
We
Tom,
won't
can I
face
pick up on something you said before I go to Richard? You spoke about Eddie Nketiah. I know you don't really rate Eddie Nketiah, but he's with us. You're saying about if he was to get injured. Now, when you was on Channel 14 for the first time, you spoke about how Thomas Partey is like the player who makes Arsenal the first team work. Surely, if he got an injury, that would be more devastating to what we're trying to do this season, rather than Eddie Nketiah. No?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Thomas Partey is undoubtedly, to me, the most important player in the whole team to keep fit and to try and maintain his presence on the pitch. I mean, what you have to look at is who are his backups.
Yeah.
And it's kind of similar to Nketiah. If Nketiah gets injured, you're kind of looking at Gabriel Martinelli hopefully filling in. Or do you bring in Balogun, or do you bring in another player? You look at the Thomas Partey situation, you're looking at potential players like Zinchenko, Xhaka, Lokonga, El Neni. In any form of formation that you want to select that in. Because what you see currently is you see Thomas Partey plays a single pivot, but he gets married up with Zinchenko. I got to say something, actually, very quickly. I thought Kieran Tierney on Saturday was driving that midfield in a Zinchenko-ish way with great aplomb.
Yeah.
Okay. Richard, to you. Business to be done. January. Partey injury. No backup. Nketiah.
Yeah, well, we know we were going for at least a wide forward and some sort of midfield option was Ornstein has said merge. We've gone from Gakpo and David to Mudryk, and he's our number one option. And Ornstein's probably the go-to guy when it concerns us transfer business. That's fine. We probably need somebody who can fulfill that Partey role, because other than Zinchenko and El Neni, they're the two most natural at it. But with Nketiah's, with Jesus' injury, will they change it from 2 midfielders to another forward that can play the 3 positions, just in case Nketiah goes, and then you've got to put Martinelli in just to give you an extra body in there? Or do they promote Crozier Dubry for the rest of the season, because which is a risk, but in the games he's had, he's shown but that's the decisions they've got to make. That's what they're paid the big bucks for. We need at least 2 bodies in. 3 would be brilliant, but we were too short before Jesus' injury, so at least two in January, I think.
Richard, very quickly before I go to Isaac. Jesus didn't score any goals. 10 games without scoring a goal.
He was getting chances, he's getting chances, but it's his all-round game, isn't it? It was the pressing. It was bringing the other players in. If he wasn't scoring, he might have been giving an assist, and he was a constant pest. And he's pressure. What he brings is that winning mentality. He knows how to win, what it takes, and Nketiah might get the same amount of goals, but he's not going to be able to press like Jesus, and he hasn't been in that position where he's got 4 winners' medals, and he knows what it gets to get you over the line in the big games, in the big situations. But that's what you'll miss. Not necessarily the goals, but that little extra that Jesus has got, that little bit of star quality.
I never thought I would have said literally Martin Odegaard would be the top scorer so far. I never saw that one coming. Never saw it coming. Isaac, business to be done in January, if any.
Yeah, we've got to do better than last January, because last January we did not bring anybody in, and it did cost us in some ways. Yes, they do have a plan on who they want to buy, or Arteta has a blueprint of what he wants, and he knows who he wants and at what time. But we've got to do better if we want to push further, or to push to the end, and compete for the title. Although I've listened to so many pundits, and they're saying if we win the title this season, we would have achieved, because of the rebuilding phase on where we are. Yes, we probably need a wide player and a party replacement. Those are my 2 priority areas. I wouldn't worry much about his situation, because we have Nketiah, and if, for instance, we got someone like a Mudryk who could play on Martinelli's side, then you could push Martinelli to the center, because he's capable of playing the number 9 role, and he also has that work rate in him. But I've seen reports that Shakhtar are asking up to 100 million euros for Mudryk, which is a little bit expensive. I don't think Arsenal can pay such an amount. But I will ask, if Man City are capable of getting Haaland at 57, that means they have someone who knows to do business, who knows how to negotiate deals. If you don't want to take this, then we'll go for another option, because this is all we can offer. I am tending to think, are we capable of negotiating? Because at the moment, Shakhtar are asking for around 100 million. Are we capable of negotiating and probably getting him at a cheaper price, which we can afford? Because a few weeks ago, Mudryk himself did post something on his Insta page that he is worth 40 million. He himself said before he was worth 20 million. But at this point, he posted and said he's at around 40 million, and the club is asking for around 100, which is too high for where he is even valuing himself. I've watched him. He is a great talent, and he doesn't drag to the bar line. He's someone who's dribbling and drawing to the center field where he can be most dangerous. And if we got a Mudryk, and we have an Nketiah up front or Martinelli, because of his quality, we could see more of the ball being supplied to the strikers. So let's not worry about bringing in a striker as we have just discussed. Because if we worry about bringing in a striker, who do we think can be a backup striker, a decent striker at a good amount at this moment? Because if you really want to bring in an established striker, it will be a little bit expensive, because you want to bring someone who can change or who can adapt quick, and that is someone you can bring from the Prem. Because if you go to the other leagues, my opinion is before they adapt to the league, Jesus will be already back, and then it will be a waste of money. But if you want to bring someone in, you will probably go for a Mitrovic or this Brentford guy.
Ivan Toney.
Yeah, Ivan Toney.
Zaha,
Those
he
are-
can play up. Zaha can play across all front three, and he's in the last year of his contract.
Yeah. So if you bring those who are established, it will be a little bit expensive, and then you push the guys that you've given new contracts further back, and then you hinder the development.
But Isaac, does it not apply for Mudryk as well? Because he doesn't play in the Premier League. So if we do have the spending power to buy him at £100 million, let's just say he's unproven in the Premier League. So, is Mudryk in that position? Is he a priority? Would you surely not go for a striker like Ivan Toney who plays in the Premier League and it'd be a lot less money than £100 million? So you spend that money on a player who's not played in the Premier League. That's a big risk, no, Isaac?
I'll be looking at it from this point, Brother Alex, because I'm looking at Mudryk and the style of play. I'm trying to base my argument on he fits in the team because of his style of play. He plays the tiki-taka kind of football. He is not someone who's fumbling on the ball. He dribbles. He has his ball control is sure. You know, there are some other players who are super, but they have a poor ball control. But I've watched him play severally. Yes, he is not played in the Prem, but he is someone who is a real gem. Come 2 or 3 seasons from now, he'll be a lot much more expensive, and a striker for me wouldn't be a priority, because if you bring in someone who can supply the already exist strike force that you have, you can imagine you bring in a striker who is not as vibrant as Jesus. Jesus has made a difference because he's as vibrant. He is playing at most of the time you find him defending. He is in the midfield and he is striking. And then you bring someone who's entirely dependent on the midfielders to supply him the ball. That will be a minus for us. But if you have a striking, an existing striking force, and you have brought in a supply force, and you have a plan, it will be much better than bringing in a striker for me.
Glenwen, do you want to add anything on top of what Isaac has just said?
Yeah, sorry for that. I don't know what happened there. I thought it's a network situation from my side. Pardon me. Yeah, now look, again, I'm going to stick to what I said earlier, and it's about consistency. And I mean, we've all said things in the past, and we stick to it for the sake of consistency. Again, doesn't matter who the player is, and I mean Tony, yes, alluded to it earlier on. No matter who comes in, whether we like it or not, we eventually end up backing that decision. So whether it's Tony, Whether it's, I think Tony has burned his bridges in all honesty. If it's Mudrik again, I've watched him like Isaac did, and I'm sure all of us has seen what he can do. He's not just a midfielder or a wide player. He's a player that will track back and defend. A striker that we are looking at might not do that. A striker is a striker. I mean, when I've played striker, I was always told to my captain, "You stay on the last man, and that is your job." And that's years ago. And the game has become so intense where everybody has to track back. So, and Mudrik is that type of player. He will go across the field. He will go forth. He will come back. And whether he's going to be ready to play in the Premier League, that remains to be seen. Again, we will all agree to say that if it is a Premier League ready player who is available, it's not even a handful. So the likes of Zaha, the likes of Tony, and I think it stops there. Who else is available? Tammy Abraham, he's got Premier League experience. There's obviously been thrown in the hat as well. But again, are these players the actual fit for Arsenal? Are these players the actual part of the plan? No, they're not. They've been linked with Arsenal, but I don't believe they are part of the plan. The plan is to get the CM, a backup for Partey, and I mean, we don't have, or rather, let me put it this way: there is not one player in that front attacking line that can't be a backup for Jesus. Martinelli is excited as ever could be. He can be the drive to press. Odegaard, he's the instigator of pressing. So I don't think, in all honesty, and this is my opinion, is that we need a striker, but do we need a striker now? We have enough attacking players to fill that position. So get the priorities in, which is a wide for Saka to challenge Saka, and a player that can back up Thomas Partey. And I'm sure we will be short, because our plan wasn't to win the league. Our plan was to gain top 4. That is our plan. And if we do win the league, yay! You know what I mean? But we stuck to the plan. We stuck to the plan to get the top 4, and in my opinion, we won't go lower than top 4 now.
Tony, how close are you to Wilfred Zaha? Have you got any contacts over there, man?
I do have a contact with
There you go.
He eats in the same restaurant as me.
All right, there you go.
Where do you stay, Tony? Where do you stay?
No, but the truth is, Wilf has always wanted to come to Arsenal.
Yeah.
He's an Arsenal fan.
Yeah.
You know, he would jump at coming to Arsenal. There's no secret about that. You know, he would jump at the chance to play for Arsenal. It's his team. He loves this club. And now he's looking on jealously, because he's like, look at what Arsenal are doing. I could be part of that.
Would he fit in the style? Could he fit in? And is he the right profile player?
I personally would like to say yes, but I don't know how the management judge the personality and character of players, because clearly that's a very important aspect when selecting players. You know, it's all very well me saying, well, yeah, pick him because he's an Arsenal fan. We've had loads of Arsenal fans who have played for the club who weren't really that good personality-wise. You know, I'm thinking like Frimpong. You know, Wilshere clearly was out and out Arsenal fan, and he would have died, you know, cut in half, bleeding Arsenal. But those kind of players are few and far between.
Yeah. Richard, do you think they would have learned lessons from last January?
You should be always learning lessons from everything. But again, what they've got to, and only they know, is what are they willing to do. It's like if you go to eBay and you see a nice chain, you know you can get it down the street for 450. You're not going to pay 180, 200 pound on eBay for it, are you? So it's what they're willing to pay for a player, and they're not going to risk the long-term plans for short-term fix. They proved that last year. The difference, I think, with last year is we are defensively more solid. We could lose Tierney, we could lose Partey, and we could lose Tomiyasu, and we'd still be defensively strong. We can afford to do that this year. Last year we couldn't. We didn't have the depth, and I've looked at this, and I like my stats. Because the XG against for us is 11.82 these 14 games. We've only conceded, so we're not that far. If you look at Newcastle, their expected goals against so far this season in their 15 games is 17. They've only conceded 11 like us. So they are outperforming. They can't keep doing that in the whole season. Whereas we defensively, we can. The stats suggest they can't do that. And the same with Manchester City. They've scored 9 goals more than their expected goals for. We've only scored 3 more. So again, all the stats suggest that we are roughly at the level we should be, and that certain other teams are overperforming in certain areas, and at some point there should be a tail off and a levelling out. Whether that happens, you never know, because you've got a player in City, in Haaland, that is just a beast, and Nick Pope
He's a machine.
has improved Newcastle defensively. He's probably the second best keeper in England after Ramsdale. So and
You have to put it in there.
yeah, well, I don't rate Pickford at all, but that I never. It's if you're looking at it, you've got Ramsdale, Pope, and
Henderson.
Where's he gone? We've got a guy
Henderson
at Nottingham Forest.
You know, let's go into the live chat. Catch up on some of the comments and listen. It's, as the young people would say, it's lit, whatever that means.
Yeah.
We've got our moderator, who's Ashley, says, "Hey up, Gooners. Hey up to you as well, Ashley. Hope you're keeping well." We've got Paul, Bray. Is it Paul, aka the Bray, aka in the North Bank? Good evening, Gooners. Welcome indeed. California TV with Alex and the Crazy Gang. Well, there's only one crazy one, that's me. And I've got Lynn. Good evening, Lynn. Says hi to all the guests and hi to you and even to you as well.
Hi, Lynn.
And she's saying Merry Christmas to you all. There are more runs available on Unfire YouTube. that's not me, that's Tony. But Tony's going to invite me to his house to drink the rum and maybe some Coke. If Arsenal do nothing like last January, are we okay with it? I am not. I won't be happy. Put it that way. We won't be happy. We won't be happy. Tygonosaurus is in the house. Yeah, he says, "Evening everyone, and a happy festive season to everyone." Paul says, "We pay Eddie just over $5 million a year. I'm sure we have given him 2 years to prove himself. Last season we would lose him for free. Okay, whereby if sold next season, would have spent 10 million. I mean." This debate about Eddie Nketiah, is he the guy to lead the line, Tony?
I have to have confidence in his ability to lead the line. I don't have a choice. I have to believe that in there is the kinds of performances where we've seen, like against Man United and Chelsea in previous
we've lost him.
games.
Okay.
You know, chasing down lost causes, harrying players, being that, you know, real needle in the side of the defenders, and being an opportunist. So I have to hope that, you know, he's learning, he's gaining confidence by playing with better players more regularly, and that will show itself come December 26th when we play West Ham.
Yeah. Anyway, so one more in the live chat before we go into the next segment. If you have seen the player that Pep brought to replace Jesus, he is to be feared after seeing him playing for Argentina. I forgot his name actually. So Arteta has to buy.
Alvarez,
Has to buy another replacement if we still want to be there or thereabouts. Maybe just one more from Gary DWTT. Good evening to you, fellas. There's a Partey and Jesus are the key players on this team. Partey keeps opponents out of our goal. Jesus helps get us goals. Without Jesus, clinical striking is required, but it hasn't scored in 10 games. Anyway. On to the next segment. I didn't see the game actually. Didn't see the game against the old lady. Jesus at Juventus, we lost 2-0, and they need
2 own goals.
2 own goals.
At least we scored.
All right, Glenn. All right, man. However, I was saddened to hear that this youngster injured again. Reece Nelson, Richard. Reece Nelson. What do we do with the boy called Reece Nelson, Richard?
Well, to be honest, we've got to keep him to the end of the season, haven't we? After that, the decision has to be made whether we extend or we move on. Up to that injury, in his last few appearances, cameos, he's looked like a player that could do something for us, and it is a shame for him. Hopefully, it's not going to be too serious, and he'll be back quite quickly. But that's the reality. He's out of contract soon, and it's down to whether we renew or not, and that will be dependent on how fit he can stay between now and from when he comes back to the rest of the season, and how he contributes to the team. I thought he looked lively against Juve. He's looked lively in some of the Europa League games he's had, and I do feel sorry for the lad, because I think he would have had a very good chance of starting against West Ham, just to bed in, let Martinelli come back and ease his way back in. But now we're going to have to throw Martinelli and Saka straight in at the deep end.
As I understand it, Marquinhos came on for Reece Nelson. I mean, again, I didn't see the game. How was Marquinhos against Juventus?
He struggled on the left-hand side. Playing on the left isn't he? He's better on the right. He improved on the right, but he was substituted in the 85th minute, I think. But on the left, he was ineffective on the left-hand side, unfortunately. And but when he moved over to the right, when Crozier, Dubry, Hall came on, his performance improved. So he does look more likely to be the cover for Saka, and his performances on the right have been better. It's very similar to Reece Nelson. When you put him on the right wing, he doesn't seem to. His performances haven't been very good. Put him on the left, and his performances have gone up a notch. So it's maybe just players that fitting into their exact holes. They're not
For you, Isaac Reese Nelson, what injured again?
Injured. He's become the new Wilshere now because he can't get a break. Every time he's come and he's playing more better, he's got a setback. But we've got to wish him all the best so that he recovers. Because we know the quality he has, we know he is a talent, and he was even thought to be someone who could outperform. He came to the limelight before even Bukayo Saka, and we thought that he was a gem back then. Before we saw what Saka could do, we just got to let him recover and see what he could bring. Because at the moment there is nothing we could do about it because he's injured, and we will have wanted the lad to play more because he's not had that real chance to prove what he is really made of.
Ah, dear. Glenwyn, Reese Nelson, man.
Yeah, man, it's a trend with these youngsters. They either don't look after themselves, or they are too hasty to come back from their injuries. So if I'm the doctor, I do my scans. What does a doctor do? I ask questions. So if I ask you, Alex, how do you feel on your left shoulder? You are going to tell me it feels fine, but let's do more tests. So at the end of the day, is what the doctor asks, I give, and based on what I've told the doctor, he claims that I'm fit. Are you really fit? So in my mind is I want to play. I want to make a difference. I want to become that backup player that can take the chance that has been given to me. But am I really fit? Look at ESR. I mean, ESR was due to go with to Dubai. He's injured again. So again, a player with a problem. So at the end of the day, is if Reese Nelson doesn't apply his mind to get fit and 100% fit, he's gonna have the same problem. And it's a hamstring, I believe, or I don't know if it is.
Yeah,
but
it was a hamstring.
I think he pulled up there, and he looked like an exciting player against Lyon and against AC Milan. So he is the player that can challenge Martinelli for that spot. But he has to look after himself. I mean, we can all blame the medical team but I go to the doctor. The doctor will diagnose whatever I'm going through, experiencing is by what I tell him to. So that's how he will do whatever scans he does, and he will obviously diagnose me accordingly. So the guys needs to obviously take responsibility of themselves as well, and they need to stay fit in order to for the bigger picture to help out the team. So you need to look after yourself.
Yeah.
I've got a quick question. I mean, how much was it also to do with the fact that we've been in Dubai, nice warm weather, and we've come back and at minus whatever it was? How much of an effect could have that had on the muscles?
He's a London lad, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So he should be
You've just
used
gone
to
away to probably about 30 plus degree heat, and then you've come back and you're playing in minus, I think it was -3 on the night.
Yeah, but Richard, you can argue that point with every other player that was in Dubai.
Look, injuries are going to happen, and what causes them is going to be a number of factors. So, yeah, you could attribute some of that to potentially the transition from very hot weather to sub minus weather. But as Glenwyn says, that doesn't affect other players who are out there doing exactly the same thing. Clearly, there's a strain. He's gone to a peak and strained himself. You know, the team are very careful in monitoring the output of players and trying to make sure that they don't go past that point where they're getting into the area where they can strain things. You know, I personally don't think he's had the worst history of injuries.
Yeah, I think you're right, Tone. Yeah.
He's not an injury-prone player. I wouldn't put him anywhere near the category of a Jack Wilshere. This, to me, is his first real injury. Because let's be honest, he ain't played no football for Arsenal for a long time. Last year he played at PSV or Eindhoven, was it?
Yeah, Feyenoord, I think it was. Yeah, it was one of the cup teams.
And we didn't get any reports of injuries.
No, and they trained him hard. They said he lacked physical training, didn't they?
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. Dear. Anyway. Do you know what? Let's go on to the next and the last segment on this Canon project. There's going to be blood on the dance floor. But anyway, how can I put this? I'm getting a little bit tired of the Emi Martinez and Bernd Leno comparisons and whether we should have kept Emi Martinez and Bernd Leno, who was the best goalkeeper. We need to put it to an end. Isaac, your thoughts, and I'm hoping we can draw a line under the situation with Emi Martinez and Bernd Leno. And actually, I've got to say, congratulations to Argentina. Was it the best World Cup final? We might talk about that a little bit later on. But Isaac, Emi Martinez and Bernd Leno.
For one to be a great or a good goalkeeper, there are a lot of factors in place. He was given the Golden Gloves, but if we were to be honest, there is someone who deserved the Golden Gloves than him.
Croatia's goalkeeper should have done it.
But I think they have always given the Golden Gloves to the goalkeepers of the winning teams.
Yeah.
So that is what happened. And Emi Martinez was good when we needed him. Leno served us right when we needed him. But at the moment we have Ramsdale. And if we have to dissect all these debates that are on social media about Emi Martinez, about him being a goalkeeper, I will probably ask a rhetorical question. How many goals has he conceded at Aston Villa? He's shipped in a lot of goals, and he didn't concede those kinds of goals when he was at Arsenal. So for you to be also a good goalkeeper, your backline matters, your defense matters, your midfielders. Actually, every player matters on the pitch for you to be a good player. You could be a superstar, but if the players surrounding you are average, you also become average.
But then Isaac, then surely he deserves the accolade because he's just won the World Cup. He's just won the World Cup.
He is a good shot stopper, but there is this tendency when you have goalkeepers who are good at saving pens, they are never good, or they are not usually good on field. You tend to look at, let me give an example of Chelsea. They have Arrizabalaga and they have this Mendy. Mendy is very, very good on field, but is very poor in penalties. Arrizabalaga is very poor on field, but he's a great shot stopper. you look at the Man City goalkeeper, he's good on field, but he's also poor in saving pens. You look at Hugo Lloris, he's good on field, but very poor when it comes to pens because he actually didn't save any pen. He conceded
Are you
all the
really
pens.
making
I don't think he's ever made a penalty save.
with a
So I'm
Spurs
trying
keeper?
to prove a point here. You look at Ramsdale, he is very good on field, but poor in saving penalties. That is the fact. But I've looked at Emi since he left Arsenal. One of the reasons he left Arsenal is that he wanted to be guaranteed number one. But he was told that you have to compete for the number one spot. And that is one reason as to why I have my respect for Ben Leno. Because when Ramsdale came in, he did not cause mayhem on the bench. He left peacefully. And that is one of the reasons I salute the guy, because he did not cause us any problems, despite the fact that he had been pushed down the pecking order by Ramsdale because of how good Ramsdale was. And if you have two good goalkeepers, and then they are each one of them is showing what they can do on the training field, it becomes a headache for the gaffer, for the manager. But when you tell him have to be the number one goalkeeper, then you give him the easy choice of letting you go and keep the other one who's not going to cause him trouble. And knowing Arteta is someone who doesn't know how to handle trouble, he will let you go and handle the boys who listen to him. Because if at all you are in the dressing room to cause him trouble, he will let you go and have a harmonized dressing room that he can talk to, a dressing room that can listen to him. And apparently we have 3 players who are now who are now managers, or who are training to be managers. That is Xhaka. We have Zinchenko. Actually, I read the other day that he's done his exams.
Yeah.
And we have El Neni. Those are 3 players. If you have them on the field, then they think as a player and also think as a coach. So it could be an added advantage to us. Yeah.
Tony, Martinez, Leno, can we put this debate to bed now, please?
No comment.
Oh, Tony, there your
Guilty as
blood is
charged.
flowing. Yeah.
Guilty as charged.
I'm fed up about Leno and
Me too.
MA.
Me too.
You know what? When they were at, and Alex alluded to it, when they were at Arsenal, they served us well. Whoever was the better keeper, he's got the bragging rights, and that's it. They're no longer with Arsenal, so just forget about them. They move on. I mean, Emmy, I think when Villa won us 3-0 last season, I don't know what he did, but he did something that really, really upset some fans. I can't remember what it was. And it's like Lingard doing the moonwalk after scoring a goal against us type of thing. Xhaka throw his badge or his armband down, that sort of thing. So, in my mind, he's no longer there. So, cheers, boy. Well done for the Golden Glove, and well done for the World Cup. And that's about it. Leno, he's gone. Leno was a good servant. He's gone. He's now at Fulham. And let him be. And that's that. We've got Ramsdale and we've got Tina Turner. So let us focus on these guys.
Yeah.
Tina Turner doesn't look too bad. He's obviously have to come into play, and he needs to obviously show that he can be a competition for Ramsdale. So, Leno, cheers.
Yeah. Yeah. move on. Yeah, Richard.
Yeah, pretty similar to Glenwyn. You know, each keeper has their strengths and weaknesses. They're not here anymore. We couldn't guarantee, and we shouldn't guarantee any player a starting spot, and you have to earn that. We thank them for their contribution, and we move on.
Yeah. Tony, you sure you don't want to say anything? Fair enough. I can only try, man.
The rum's talking.
Yeah, let that talk. The rum.
Sorry, Glenwyn. You want to say something, Glenwyn?
No. I
See,
saw
Alex,
something in the
we've-
chat,
we've-
but I'll
we've-
leave that to you.
Yeah. all
People
right.
have dwelt on the
Yeah, go on, Isaac. We can hear you.
I was saying people have been dwelling on the Leno and Martinez issue. Is like having an ex-wife and then you have a new wife, and then you keep telling the new wife about the ex-wife. Then you'll be in trouble. But you know the ex-wife was this good, you know the ex-wife, the ex-wife, what? Your new wife will tell you, you go get married to your
Why
ex-wife.
was your ex-wife?
Yeah, you go back to your ex-wife because it's becoming too much. We have a new wife. Let's concentrate on building this marriage, a new wife. Forget about the ex-wife.
That's why he's polyamorous. Yeah, people got it spot on.
Isaac, have you been drinking, man?
From there, that's Eden.
Oh dear. All right, let's go into live chat just for the last time anyway. Gary says
I had
Emmy-
some hen.
All right, that's what I thought anyway. Gary says, Emmy, who? Next subject, please. What are you getting from Santa? Dearie me. I saw a couple of other comments here. John Nagiza says, Martinez gave Arsenal 10 good years. I applaud that. A man with big ambition leaves us and wins the World Cup, gets a World Cup medal. Gary says, Alex, comment on Emmy. Tony, no comment. I agree. LOL. All right, okay, thanks for that. And First Lady says we were on last Thursday, and chat was playing up, hoping for this Thursday. I think everything should be fine actually now. We are back in action in a few days' time. Question: who has missed Arsenal playing in action? Every one of you.
Definitely.
Yeah. No, Tony.
Tony, no comment.
No, I can comment on this because I was a little bit reticent about the World Cup for a number of reasons. But I have to give credit to Qatar because the World Cup looked excellent. And when I did join in, starting to watch games, which was following the group stages at the quarterfinals and semis, I was very, very impressed by what I saw. There was a very high level refereeing. I know some people are going to, there's always going to be fans who are going to criticize refereeing. You know, the referee in the England game against France was despicable. He gave this and he gave that. Well, hey, it is what it is. Yeah, you get that in the Premier League. But overall, I was impressed. I thought the games were of a very high standard. I was pleasantly surprised by the outsiders turning up and doing a number on bigger teams. And it gave me a lot of confidence to see those teams perform the way they did. You know, look, a player like Alex McAllister, bossing in midfield in a World Cup final from Brighton and Hove Albion. Come on, guys. It's the story of dreams.
Also, the manager, he was only second division Argentinian, team, and he's gone back to managing and winning the World Cup. So
You know, we
their
had
story's all over, isn't it?
an African club team in the semi-final.
Yep.
We saw 5 African nation teams managed by 5 African managers. First time ever.
Yep. Yep.
There's
Yep.
just so, you know, listen, I don't know if anyone's watched it, but I watched the FIFA Uncovered documentary on Netflix. Awful. Absolutely
I saw it as well.
scathingly awful.
Yeah.
If anybody hasn't watched it, go watch that, because that will tell you all you need to know about the absolute atrocities that have been happening in world football by FIFA since 1966. And, you know, look, it is what it is. At the end of the day, if we remove ourselves from some of those things and make those isolated things become things that we address separately to the football, like racism in football, like corruption in football, like, you know, all the other things that need to be addressed, then that's one thing. But at the end of the day, come Saturday at 3 p.m., we want to see football. And if it's of a high standard, that's what us as football fans generally just want to see.
Mm. I've got to say, actually, the Moroccan midfielder, Sofian Amrabat, I thought for me, the guy, Arsenal, get it done, man.
Get that deal.
Wow.
How about Camavinga? He was a beast in that midfield as well.
Yeah. There are players there. There are alternative players that we could go into the market for. But yeah.
I don't
Actually,
think
Tony
Real
Wilson,
Madrid
Tony.
will let Camavinga go. I think they see how good he can be.
Yeah. And he had a brilliant game yesterday. Beautiful.
Yeah. And so did Mbappe. But we're not about to go and buy Mbappe, is it? Are we?
Yeah, I think.
How about Ronaldo?
Sorry for scores a hat, still not enough to win your World Cup.
Yeah, shame, man.
Anyway, we have come to an end on this segment, the Canon Project. I haven't done one in the longest while, actually, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. Actually, in the end, there was no blood on the dance floor. Damn, I tried.
The reason for that, Alex, is Tony. He refrained from his comment.
Tony's on the rum, and I haven't got my steel toe caps on.
Oh dear. Well done. Anyway, brother Isaac, thank you. As always, you're always welcome on Canon 42, part of the Canon 40 TV family. Thank you for that, brother. Are you still with us, Isaac? Oh, he's gone. He's been
frozen.
Minutes. Well, I'll go over. Richard, thank you. And also thank you for doing the Thursday night football show with Ange. I think you're going to be back in action on this Thursday, Richard. Is that right?
Yeah, it's going to be a watch along. I think we play Zurich in the last Champions League, and that's the last women's game before Christmas.
Okay, brilliant.
It's always a pleasure.
Nice one. And Tony, no comments. Nice one, Tony. Nice one. Thank you for coming back on the channel, man.
Always a pleasure, my brother. Always a pleasure.
Nice one. Save me some of that rum as well, man.
It's here for you, my bro. Whenever you come round, you're always invited. This is waiting for you, bro.
8 years.
Glenn Wynn, round the corner, South Africa.
Cape Town.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Alex. It's always a pleasure. You know, I mean, I'll do my best if we don't have darkness in our country.
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure. Thanks for the invite.
No worries. I think Isaac, are you back? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yes, you hear me.
We can hear you. Thank you for coming on Canon 40 TV, brother.
It's always a pleasure. This is family. It is Arsenal through and through.
Yeah. Even if someone says no comments, we're still family.
We are still family because they know what it feels to be an Arsenal fan, and I said we've suffered for the longest time ever, and it's night time that we enjoy.
Yeah.
Actually, here's something maybe Tony can comment on. So Tony, very quickly, if with all the injuries that are coming now, is top 4 at risk, or do you think we're a dead cert for top 4 this season?
Nah, this is definitely not a certified placing. There's a lot of hard work to be done between now and the end of the season. When you consider that we haven't even reached the halfway point of the season. So yes, it's great that we're 5 points clear at the top. It's great that we'll be top in the new year on New Year's Day. However, as I said, you know, come the 1st of January, you know, look, Chelsea have signed Nkunku. That deal is done. You know, Arsenal need to follow suit. We need to sign a player, announce him before he even hits the club.
Yeah.
You know, because what you kind of have to think about is, if you sign a player from Ukraine, their season's in break, if I'm not mistaken. So if they're on break, you can get that player and say, like, okay, well, I tell you what, come down a bit early, come and do your medical, make sure that's all done, and get acclimatized so that on January 1st, you're in. Yeah? You're in. We're giving you, you know, the ability to come on at 60 minutes on that first game in January.
But Tone, that's not the Arsenal way, is it? We like to draw things out for the longest time.
See, and you asked the question earlier, will we learn from last year? Will we learn from what other teams have done? Will we learn from the fact that, you know what, actually, if you put some money behind this, there's a chance we can win. There's one little bit of kind of hope that I have is last year, Stan Kroenke had the LA Rams sitting nowhere. They had a relegation quarterback and nothing to support him. And they started the season on fire. And he realized, hang on a second, I could be onto something. And he invested in his team and went out and got 3 of the best players in the league on a 1-year deal. Odell Beckham, Von Miller, and I can't remember who the other one was, but he got 3 players on a 1-year deal. And just because of those 3 players, they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Okay, Glenwood, just very, very, very quickly. I know we spoke about the potential, rumors about another takeover for Arsenal. When can we expect that video to come out on your platform?
Almost gotten all the necessary information, Alex. It'll probably be another week or so, but I'm not in a hurry. I just want to get the facts straight.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into all sorts of unnecessary things that is not fact.
Yeah, sure. Okay, and that's it. You will see me again tomorrow morning. Yeah, my school's also broke up for the half term. Yes. Yeah. I had a full head of hair when I started at the school, and now I've lost all my hair. Anyway. To all my contributors, thank you for joining me on this latest segment of the Cannon Project. And this has been Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all over the world. This world.